Go ahead and move back into what we call velocity mode. This is where we kind of see which way the winds are kind of spinning in the atmosphere out there right now. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom into this right in here. And, when you see the red, that's winds that are blowing toward the radar, and green kind of away from the radar. And as I'm seeing right in here, I'm seeing a little bit of a twist right back in there. So it looks like the circulation center for this is just to the north of Crawford and just to the west of Smith Station. So I want to reiterate this once again. If you are now in Lee County, right along the Lee County-Russell County border, you need to take immediate shelter. Basement is preferred. If you don't have that, obviously interior hallway closet. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside. Keep yourself safe. Another idea, maybe heading for a bathtub, putting in putting like a mattress over the top of you. If you hear that freight train a-coming, and there's a pretty decent circulation center. Oh, again, if you're out ahead of this cell, especially in the northern portions of Muskogee County and Harris County, those are the areas I'm the most concerned about right now. Is those specific areas out ahead of this rotation that's continuing to move toward Smith Station and eventually getting up into the northern portions of Muskogee County. There's no warning for Muskogee County right now, but if you're watching, again, if you hear the alert go off, take immediate shelter right now. Lee County, you're under the gun. Russell County, I know that you're officially in the warning, but the rotation, at least looking on radar, appears to be off toward your north right now. Going to switch this back over to reflectivity mode. That's the mode where we see that most intense rainfall. And boy, it's coming down in buckets right now as this line continues to move across our area. And you clearly see the little rotation going on embedded in that line of thunderstorms as it's now moving into Muskogee County and Harris County. Again, I want to switch back over to the warnings, see where they're at right now. There's the severe thunderstorm warning now that's been issued for Harris County and parts of Muskogee County for this morning. Let me get the inquiry times on that right now. And it goes for Harris and Muskogee until 5:45 for this morning. That includes Bibb City, Hamilton, Shiloh, and Waverly Hall. Again, that's in anticipation of that particular cell that's now producing the tornado warning now just for Lee County. There it goes. As anticipated, tornado warning now has just been issued for Harris and Muskogee counties. Again, if you are in the path of this particular storm, you need to take immediate shelter. Basement is preferred, but the interior hallway closet on the first floor. If you have an upstairs, downstairs home, head to the bottom floor. Make sure you put as many walls between yourself and outside. If you're just joining us now, typically we'd be right on for News Leader 9 morning right now, but we're going to stay with you right now with this tornado warning that's currently in effect for our area for Harris County and Muskogee County until 5:45 and until 4:30 Central for Lee County right now. Let me go back over to where those warnings are. You see the purple area right in there. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in there a little closer because you can kind of see where the warning is currently tracking. That's tracking where that spin up was as we were seeing that spin roughly right about in here as the storm continues to move off in this general direction, moving toward Muskogee County and Harris County right now with a potential tornado. Again, Doppler indicated we haven't had reports of damage yet, but of course we'll be on the phone with the local emergency managers there in Lee County, and as the storm tracks across portions of Muskogee County as well as Harris County, we'll immediately let you know should we have any problems with that right now. Damage. There's the tornado warning now being trimmed back as it's starting to move. Again, where I was located the spin up was near Smith Station, which again is sitting right about in here, which is where we were looking at, and it should ride along the Muskogee Harris County line right in there. That's kind of, there's some houses up in that northern portions of Muskogee County, obviously there in southern Harris County, but then it gets kind of into open territory a little bit. But again, if you're in the path of this tornado, you need to make sure that you take immediate shelter at this time because again, Doppler indicated activity. I want to switch back over to velocity again. I want to see where the latest spin up is on this particular cell. Let me switch back over here to the last hour, and I'm going to zoom in a little closer once again. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to make that. Yeah, there it goes. Looks like it's again a broad rotation. Looks like anywhere right about in here. Now getting ready to enter, and well, I'm sorry, not wrong place. Actually, it's very broad now. It's actually multiple vortices or little spin-ups in there. When you see the green and the red, that's red is winds that are blowing toward the radar, green away from the radar. And this is the radar that's back off over toward to the west of Auburn there. That's the Maxwell Air Force Base radar right in there. So it's not nearly as defined as it was earlier. I'm going to go ahead and loop this here a little bit. And again, Yeah, not nearly as defined as it was earlier, but again, doesn't take much. This is going to be a fairly weak tornado, but that can still cause damage to your house and still cause problems. So if you hear the gusty winds, you hear that freight train coming, definitely want to make sure you take immediate shelter. Yeah, very broad. Whatever the most intense activity was, it's very broad. It looks like it's now moving into southern portions of Harris County right now. Not seeing that distinct thing we were dealing with earlier. Let me back this up. You see right about there, just to the north of Crawford, that's when it would look like it was at its intense. You see the green and the areas here, back in here as this thing was rotating through. But as I step this through, you see that the spin is definitely not nearly as bad as it was earlier. So it is definitely weakening as it's now moving into Harris County and Muskogee County. So some good news there, folks, as it looks like the area was right where it was at its most intense, just to the west of Crawford. And as it moved on through, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit tighter on this so as I could take a look at this from a little bit better perspective as it's continuing to move on through. So I'm going to go in a little closer here, and I'm going to step through this again. As again, you can see where as it moved on through northern portions of Russell County, spun right into Lee County, got pretty close to Smith Station, and now has moved up into Russell. So the good news I can tell you right now as I'm looking at this, it's not nearly as intense. It looks like if we have any spin up left, it's right about in here, pretty broad, and I'm not seeing, let me go ahead and do it a pixel and crayon on this and see what's going on as far as the, see what kind of winds we have going on in here. As far as the shear is concerned. All right, still showing 101 mile per hour winds in there. So right now it looks like the possible tornado, at least looking at the radar, is sitting there in Harris County just to the, let's see how many miles that is from, I want to take a look, whoops, not that, let me back up real quick here. I want to clear this out. I want to check how many miles that is from Hamilton there. So looking at the center of circulation here, about 12 miles away from Hamilton. So if you're in Hamilton right now, it's continuing mostly in an easterly direction, should be right off of 27 off toward the south. You need to go ahead and take immediate shelter as, again, we've had reports of some damage. A boat got flipped over there in northern Russell County as this thing was moving on through. Looks like it's, here's the spin up right in here. You see the greens and the reds. Again, you see the little bar up here. You see the red indicating that wind's moving toward the radar and green away from the radar. Radar is back over toward Maxwell Air Force Base, so the beam's coming this way, and that's showing the rotation spinning right in here. Looks like it's getting ready to cross I-185 at this time, and again, anywhere from Hamilton, stretching down Highway 27, Waverly Hall, Manchester, it's moving in this general direction as we're looking at the warnings. Go ahead and switch us back over to the warnings. I want to make sure we haven't got an update as far as new tornado warnings out there. I want to see where this is. That warning continues until about 5:45. Again, you see the warning area here in the purple, and as this continues to move off toward the northeast at about some 35 miles per hour. Again, that's for Harris, Muskogee County. I know you're technically in it, but the rotation is clearly off toward your north, so I'm not really concerned about Muskogee County right now unless something new materializes. Waverly Hall, you're in the path. Line rotation. Go ahead and zoom that back as we're getting reports of possible injuries here in Crawford as this was moving on through. Go ahead and step this back, and we're going to show you this was moving through Crawford area. All right, loop it forward here. Where that was 445. Yeah, right through there. Bammo. Yeah, see that right through there. It was coming right through Crawford, just to the north of Crawford. You see where this spin up was right here. That was when it was most intense as it continues to, it moved over Smith Station and then kind of lost its, kind of spread out a little bit as it was moving through Harris County and going to the latest imagery. Again, it looks like right about in there is what's left of it, just off I-85. Go ahead and zoom in real close on this right here, and let's check some of the wind profiles in here right now. Again, this is just to the south of Mountain Hill, coming over toward Hamilton. And Chuck, help me with that. I'm going to mispronounce that one. Is he in there? Where? That city right there. I don't want to mess it up. Rehoboth? Rehoboth. I don't want to mess that up. So again, seeing some, didn't want to mess the name up. All right, so you see the rotation sitting right in here. Gate 45 miles per hour. That's not nearly as impressive of what we were seeing earlier when it was showing about 100 mile per hour winds. So still looking at the rotation in here, heading in this direction. If you're anywhere along Highway 27, as we still have the tornado warning, it's still in effect for another 20 minutes right now as this continues to move in this direction. Go ahead and take immediate shelter. Be safe. That's what we're here for. That's why we're on air, and we're going to continue to stay on air with this as we continue through the morning here, as hopefully this threat will start to weaken. It's continuing to weaken, which is the good news there, as this continues to move off toward the east. And we've got folks on the phone, so we're checking on this as this continues to move through the area. Go ahead and go back over to reflectivity mode. I want to take a look at the wider perspective once again. And again, here we go. You see the oranges and the yellows indicative. It's not nearly as bad. Go ahead and loop this for me, so I want to see the spin as this was moving on through. You see the spin clearly here in the rotation of the imagery here, and it looks like to me, again, you're not seeing as many reds and oranges out there, weakening just a little bit as this continues to move off toward the east here, and the heavy rains are stretching all the way down to the south.